So how do you make felted soap? You might even be wondering, what is it? Or how do you use it? In this video, I'm going to answer those questions, teach you how to make it, and even share some tips and tricks with you. Hey everyone, I'm your fiber artist host Jody, and welcome to today's video. On this channel I share needle felting videos and felting tutorials like this one, and even have giveaways from time to time. So if you're new, please consider subscribing. And if you want to know more about anything you see here, check the links in the description below this video. Now let's get into this video. I wanted to start by thanking those of you who requested this video. I have another how to make felted soap video. It is more of just kind of like a watch me make it and read on the screen the directions. And when that was up on my personal channel, many of you had requested that I make a video where I can just felt with you guys and teach you how that way, and I think it's a great idea. So here I am, super excited to be making this for you guys. I'm going to be sure and link that video for you guys in the description below. You can check it out later, but for now, let's stay on track with this video. So what is felted soap? As you can see, I have a couple here, and they are a little bit used, but it is wool that is wrapped around soap. So when you get wool wet, it shrinks, and it just creates the perfect coat. And what happens is you don't need a washcloth when you're lathering, and it'll offer a little bit of a gentle exfoliant to your skin. Two other bonuses that it offers are it'll make the soap last longer if it's made correctly, and depending on the type of soap that you use. Some soaps just last longer anyway. And the other bonus is when you leave your soap on the counter, you normally get that little buildup of soap scum. Well, with this, you don't. It's super clean, keeps your area nice, and even decorated looking. Now let's get into making some felted soap together. Alright, I'm going to start with showing you everything you need here, starting with the wool. And I do want to point out that wool roving works better for felting your soap than the batting for some reason, but I like to use both. You're going to need scissors, the pillar. If your soap does not have round edges like this one does, you're going to want to be peeling those off. Your soaps, obviously of your choice. As you can see, I have a few different that I'm going to be working with. Extra towels, and a bamboo sushi mat, your bowl, and then some old nylons or just cheap nylons. Again, I'll have all this linked for you guys below. So I'll show you my setup here. I've got my colors of wool here, got my soaps ready to go, the pillar that I'll need to get this soap nice and rounded, nylons, extra towel, the bowl here, my bamboo sushi mat the correct way with the rougher side up, and then even more towel here. I'm going to teach you a simple mesh design. If you're wanting to know more about needle felting a design on your soap, then I'll link that video for you in the description below as well. So I'm going to go with this color scheme and a mesh, I think, of that color scheme. There we go. If you have an apron, grab it because you'll want it to protect your clothes from the water. It could get a little splashy. Before we get to making that mesh, I'm gonna carve this soap really quick. Super simple like so. Looking pretty good. So I'm gonna take just a little bit of each one of these colors. Oranges, pinks, purple, yellow, and some red. So this is roving and batting. I have 4 soaps and I want to make this for 2 of them. So a way you can kind of gauge this is just taking your wool and wrapping it around, and that looks like it'll cover 1 soap pretty well. The more you use and make felted soap, the better idea you'll have of how much wool you'll need to get your soap covered thoroughly. So I'm gonna make another batch here for my other soap. This process can take as long as you want it to take, depending on how meshed you want your colors to be. So I will just pull the wool in my hands like this a handful of times. Switch it up, just rip the wool apart. It's kind of fun. And then another way you can do it is just bit by bit pull the fibers and break them apart. Just get that wool all meshed. And now I'm gonna do the same with the blue color. I'm done meshing it. This is as fine as I'm gonna go. I just wanted to give you a little bit of a close-up of how it looks. So for this part, it's important when you take the wool to wrap it around the soap very tightly. I can kind of see here areas where I'm gonna want a little bit more wool. Always a little extra on the corners. Take your bowl and get warm or cold water, whichever you prefer. I'm gonna put warm in my bowl and run with cold here. I think this way is smart because I can just plunge it right in there right off the bat and get working with the nice, warm, soft wool for getting it all nice and felted. Now just take the soap, smooth it around in your hands with using firm friction. You can see the water is kind of starting to squeeze out and I'm getting a nice lather. Use my thumbs on it a little bit here, just as if you were rolling a ball in your hands. Now that you have it like that, go ahead and set it aside and grab your nylon. Now you're gonna put your soap inside it. Pull it nice and tight and put a knot in it. Like so. Then cut it and set that aside. Put another knot in the end here because we're gonna do the next soap and get it covered in wool the same way. All right, I'm gonna plunge it in the warm water. This bar is going to be a little more awkward to felt due to its shape and size. I'm gonna continue this process for the next two soaps. All right, now that you have all your soaps like this, it's time to do the elbow grease and felting part. So if you go to your bamboo sushi mat too soon, you'll risk like pushing the wool into areas you don't want it. So you're gonna want to continue felting this gently by just giving it nice friction and rolling it around in your hands, scratching it. Use the lather to your benefit and then alternating it between cold and hot water. You don't have to do a ton of rinsing here. The lather totally works to your benefit in helping entangle the fibers. So continue doing this for each soap anywhere from 5 to 15 minutes. Just totally depends on the type of wool you're using. And then a way to check and see if it's felting is if you pull on the nylon, the wool fibers up, you'll start to know it's felted when you can separate the nylon from the wool easily. Now it's time to use your sushi mat a little bit. So here you're just gonna take your soap and gently rub it on the sushi mat. Don't do it too hard. You're not trying to break down your soap. The wool fibers, they entangle very easily. This can just help speed the process up a little bit and guarantee that they're getting entangled. Okay, so you can see it's starting to get felted pretty good. When you pick it up, it's staying. There's just a little more. You can see I can still pull some. So there's more felting to be done. It's looking even better. So I'm gonna go ahead and cut one open. It's looking pretty felted. You can see there's only a few fibers. All right, and the next one. There it is, look at that one. And if you want, you can use your sushi mat a little bit more. Be sure if you do this to do it very gently. Plunge, rinse it. A little more felting to this one too, and you're almost done. I wanted to point out, if you're having trouble getting any of the pieces to stay in place, sometimes using a needle and gently felting, not too hard because you can break the tip off into the soap, but very gently felting the wool pieces together, that will help keep it in place. and see if it's coming out thin here. You always add more wool in a certain area. So this is a true test for your soap. You'll know when you're done felting it, when you can pinch it and no fibers pull up. All right, you guys, my soap is good. Yours should be too. The last step is set these somewhere to dry. All right, that's it, you guys. So super simple to make felted soap. If I didn't answer your question in today's video, please leave it in the comments down below. I would love to connect with you there. And don't forget to leave me a comment with what you think I should make next, and I might just make it. Thanks so much for watching. Bye.